All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a field that brings pure imagination to life. Prop making.
Yeah,
We're talking about the wizards who craft those incredible objects, weapons, gadgets, you name it, that we see on screen and on stage.
right, right.
And, you've got questions about what it takes to become a prop maker. Luckily, we're diving deep into these role-catcher resources to uncover the skills, the secrets, and maybe even a few behind-the-scenes stories.
Because let me tell you, it's way more involved than just, hot glue and glitter.
Oh, absolutely. Way more.
We're talking serious craftsmanship, problem solving, and a whole lot of ingenuity.
It's like they take a designer's wildest idea and say, challenge accepted.
Exactly. What I find fascinating about prop making is that it's this awesome blend of artistry and practicality.
Oh, for
We're not
sure.
just creating something visually stunning. It's got to be built to last, to be used, sometimes under some pretty intense conditions.
I can imagine, especially when you've got actors swinging swords or things blowing up on set.
Yeah. Exactly. Think about a prop gun, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about looking real. It needs to function flawlessly, take after take.
Wow. The level of precision involved must be insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of precision, these role-catcher resources don't hold back on the nitty-gritty. They describe the job as constructing, building, preparing, adapting, and maintaining props, which, by the way, could be anything from simple imitations of everyday items to mind-blowing electronic or pyrotechnical effects.
Wow.
Pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
We're not talking about your grandma's arts and crafts here.
Right. It's serious business. And that's where that usability factor you mentioned comes in.
Oh, yeah.
You think about a movie designer, they're sketching these fantastical weapons, maybe creatures, all sorts of wild stuff.
Yeah.
It's the prop maker who figures out how to actually build it, how to make it work in an actor's hand.
Right. Make it safe, too, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. So they're bridging this gap between artistic vision and real-world limitations, and that can get really complex.
I bet. Speaking of complex, the work environment sounds like its own adventure. RoleCatcher uses words like physically demanding and handling hazardous materials. It got me thinking about those special effects paints and adhesives they use in filmmaking. Some of that stuff's like industrial strength.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not all smoke and mirrors, that's for sure.
Definitely not the glamorous image some people might have.
Right, and this brings us to a super important point that RoleCatcher emphasizes: work-life balance.
Okay, yeah.
This is a field that thrives on creativity, passion, long hours. I gotta meet those deadlines, especially when you're talking about getting that perfect prop ready for a big shoot.
Oh, I can only imagine the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
RoleCatcher even mentioned working evenings, weekends, sometimes even holidays.
Yeah, it happens.
Makes you wonder, what kind of person thrives in that environment? What kind of skills do they need to not just survive, but really excel?
That's a great question, and it's something RoleCatcher digs into, which I appreciate.
Okay, good.
It's not just about being crafty, right?
Yeah.
It takes this unique blend of artistic talent and practical know-how. You got to be multi-talented in this field.
I was going to say, speaking of know-how, the range of skills RoleCatcher listed really surprised me.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I expected woodworking, maybe sculpting, the hands-on stuff, but reading comprehension, critical thinking, those weren't exactly on my prop-making bingo card. What's the connection there?
Well, when you think about the challenges prop makers face, it actually makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to decipher a century-old design sketch for some antique weapon, right? Talk about needing strong reading comprehension.
Yeah.
And critical thinking. That's essential every step of the way. You're troubleshooting on the fly, adapting designs to fit a budget, a deadline. You got to think on your feet.
So it's like prop makers are these creative engineers blending technical skills with that artistic eye. And speaking of career paths, RoleCatcher lays out a pretty clear progression in their career stages section.
Yeah.
You start as an assistant, learning the ropes from experienced prop masters.
Right.
And gradually you work your way up, taking on more responsibility, leading a team, managing budgets, maybe even pioneering new techniques.
Yeah, it's like any skilled trade.
Right.
You put in the time, you master your craft.
Exactly.
And what I find really interesting is how RoleCatcher actually uses real-life examples to show how this all plays out.
Oh, cool.
They have these profiles of different prop makers at different stages in their careers.
Okay.
Highlighting the skills, the experiences that got them there. Like one profile I was looking at, it featured a prop maker who he started in theater, honed his skills in carpentry, metalworking, eventually became this this go-to specialist for these intricate clockwork props
Wow, that's amazing.
for fantasy films. So it's inspiring to see that kind of passion and dedication and how it leads to that specialized expertise.
You bring up a good point, because even if someone's not, dreaming of building props for a living,
Right.
this section, it offers some really valuable insights.
Absolutely.
It underscores how skills and expertise, they develop over time in any field. You start with the fundamentals, you master those, you take on more responsibility. Eventually, you're the one leading projects, innovating.
Yeah.
It's a classic trajectory for a reason.
It works. And speaking of innovation, we got to talk about how technology is impacting this field.
Oh, yeah.
RoleCatcher brings up something it's a game changer. 3D printing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's totally revolutionizing how props are designed, how they're created. Remember that intricate clockwork prop we were talking about?
Yeah.
Something like that could take weeks, maybe months to create by hand, traditionally.
Oh, easily.
But with 3D printing, you can prototype designs so fast, experiment with complex geometries, even produce multiple iterations, different versions, in a fraction of the time.
Yeah, it's incredible how technology is changing the game. And not just in terms of speed and efficiency, but opening up these whole new realms of creative possibilities.
Absolutely.
With 3D printing, you can achieve this level of detail, intricacy that before it was unimaginable. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's true. This technology is allowing prop makers to push the boundaries of what's possible. Bringing to life designs that were once confined to, the realm of imagination.
Totally.
But it's not just about pushing artistic boundaries either, right? It's practical, too.
Oh, right.
RoleCatcher points out that 3D printing can actually lower those production costs.
Okay, yeah.
Which is huge, especially in film and theater.
Oh, definitely. I mean, time is money in those industries.
Exactly.
So faster prototyping, more intricate designs, potentially lower costs. It's no wonder RoleCatcher is hey, 3D printing is essential for aspiring prop makers.
Right. You want to stay competitive, you got to adapt.
It's like they always say, evolve or become a dinosaur. But, what's also interesting is how this technological shift has created all these new resources for people interested in prop making.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
We're talking online tutorials, forums, you've got maker spaces with 3D printers. There are just so many more opportunities now to learn, to experiment, to connect with other people in this field.
It's a great time to be interested in this stuff.
It really is incredible how accessible things are becoming, for anyone who's interested in learning these skills.
Absolutely.
After this deep dive, I bet some of our listeners are all right, where's the nearest hardware store? I got an idea for a prop.
I hope so. That's fantastic. And the best part is RoleCatcher's got your back, even if you're not sure where to start.
For real.
Yeah, they've got those detailed career guides we mentioned, but they also break down essential skills. They have tips for, actually building your portfolio.
Oh, nice.
Even advice on, how to navigate the industry itself, networking, all that stuff.
Okay, so it's not just about the hands-on stuff. It's the business side, too.
Exactly. It's the whole package.
That's awesome. They really thought of everything.
It seems like it.
Seriously, if anyone out there is even a little bit curious about prop making, go check out RoleCatcher. We'll link it in the show notes.
Definitely.
It's funny. All this talk about the future of prop making has got me thinking.
Oh, yeah. What's on your mind?
Well, remember earlier we were talking about immersive experiences like escape rooms and interactive theater.
Definitely.
It seems like those rely heavily on props that actually respond to the audience or the environment. It's not just about, looking cool anymore. It's about creating these interactive elements that really enhance that feeling of, whoa, I'm actually in this world.
You're spot on. It makes you wonder, are we going to see even more demand for props that can, react to touch, sound, even light, blurring the lines between the physical and the digital?
That's wild.
Right. It's like prop making is entering this whole new dimension.
It's not just about recreating reality anymore. It's about crafting these experiences that are engaging on a whole other level.
Exactly. And with 3D printing, interactive electronics, all these tools becoming more accessible, who knows what incredible illusions prop makers will dream up next.
Seriously. It's exciting to think about. But on that note, we're going to have to wrap up this deep dive into the world of prop making.
Yeah, but this conversation's got me inspired.
Me too. It just goes to show there's always something new to discover, even about the things that create the illusions we think we know.
Well said.
A huge thanks to our listeners for joining us on this journey behind the scenes. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive.